Hello everyone and welcome to the first leg of the European Racing Series. You are watching live on the AB Sports Network. Only a couple minutes away now till race day. Grab your popcorn as it's going to be a good one. Welcome to a brand new season of the European Racing Series. It is the opening weekend here at the Russian Grand Prix and the starting grid is as follows. On the front row we have Garuda Racing Jar and the Spaniard Valdez. At 3 and 4 we have the Spanish compatriot and heavily favoured Arbeloa of Eastwood Motorsport, as well as the hometown hero Sergei Antonov. On the third row we have Chu and Sadat the Egyptian, followed by the Iceman Marja Vanainen and the ultra-competitive Luigi Marchetta rounding out the fourth row. At 9 and 10 we have the native Frenchman Girard and the French-speaking Canadian Jean-Francois Beauchamp from Ottawa. On the sixth row we have AB Racing's very own Faith Anthony and the bad boy of the racing world Eduardo Mello. Following a 2-year FIA suspension due to drug-related issues, he is back in the European Racing Series to prove he can still drive. At 13th and 14th on the grid, we have the Norwegian Jonsider and the German Dreyfus. Tang and Dembele line up at 15th and 16th respectively on the grid. On the 9th row, we have an all-Brazilian lockout with Firebird Sabato and AB Racing's very own Andre Gomez. He is making his first career start today at the age of 22, and he has said that he is looking forward to it and make some noise. Rounding out the bottom of the grid, we have Cavalcanti at 19 and the veteran Englishman Alex Rogers at 20. So there you have it. That is the starting grid for the Russian Grand Prix here in the first race of the European Racing Series, and the race will be brought to you live next here on AB Network. The lights are about to go out and a brand new season is about to get underway. And they are off. Gomez gets off to a sluggish start, but up ahead Anthony in 10th gets off to an okay start as they come down to the first corner. Anthony is gaining up on 9th place as he looks to go round the outside of him. But up ahead as they head into turn 1 the cars go 4 wide and Anthony does complete the move on Girard and is now looking to take the fantastic fin in 8th place, Vanainen, which he's side by side coming into the next corner and he does, and he goes up the outside of Arbeloa. Great double overtake there by the American Faith Anthony. And he goes down the inside of El Sadat as well. What a start for Anthony. He's up into 6th place now and is up with the leading pack as they come into this swooping right-hander. And Anthony has a look at 5th place but wisely stays back and just holds his ground. Sadat is gaining on him. As we check back with Gomez, the 22-year-old, he has had a bad start and is down in 20th. He needs to regain his composure and focus if he wants to have any chance of making a good result here. This is not the start Andre Gomez was looking for in his first career start. Gomez has a look down at 19th place but wisely lays off as he knows he needs to overtake some cars if he wants to ever get back in this race. Down at 20th is not where he wants to be on his first career start. Up ahead, Anthony has set the personal fastest first sector of the race here at the Russian Grand Prix, but has actually dropped down to 9th and is currently battling with El Sadat as he looks to go around the outside of him in the final corner. He's making his move and he has still not completed, but as he goes down the inside of 7th as well, into the final corner, he is looking to make a move on 6th again. But does he go for it? No, he holds back, but what another great move by Faith Anthony as he goes down the inside of both Sadat and Girard there into 7th place. What a start as he goes 4 wide into turn 1 but gets pushed wide and is dropped down to 8th place. What a hectic start to the Russian Grand Prix of this brand new season, and what a start for Faith Anthony as well. He's moved his way up into 8th place now after a great opening lap. As he comes round the outside of this lap, 9th is gaining on Jonsider, the Norwegian. Anthony has a look down the inside of 7th place Chu, but thinks wisely of it, but gets better traction of the exit and goes past him now. Anthony needs to be wary now of Jonsider coming up the inside of him. What a move by the Norwegian. As we switch up ahead to Gomez now as he looks to get past 18th place, which he does he's just moved up to 18th because of retirement due to Antonov the Russian, and he looks to keep going now as he comes down to the final corners. 19th place Tang is looking to go around the outside, in which he does, and Gomez and Tang hit. What a disastrous start for the rookie Andre Gomez here, the Brazilian at AB Racing. He has snapped his front wing clean off and will definitely need to come pit for that, and as well he's been given a drive-through penalty. This is not the start Gomez wanted. Lap 3 now is up ahead. Anthony makes a move on both 8th and 7th place as he moves up into 7th himself. What a start by Anthony. He has had a blistering start to this Russian Grand Prix here, and he is showing the kind of pace which he showed in practice earlier and showed why he was first in practice. Good start by AB Racing here today, and they'll be looking to continue on this throughout the rest of the race. On board with the rookie Gomez now. It is lap 5 and he is serving his drive-through penalty after his incident with Chu. It was completely his fault, snapped his front wing clean off, shouldn't have made the move, and this rookie will have to learn very quickly. He's in 16th at the moment, but he needs to be doing better if he wants to continue racing for AB Racing, as they're looking at this promising German driver in the future to maybe replace Gondre Gomez if he doesn't step up his game. AB Racing's Anthony has been sending team messages telling him that his tyres are worn and he needs to pit ASAP, as he looks to go into the pit now. As he goes into the pit, this is where AB Racing's new pit crew will come into play here, as they've spent a lot of money on upgrading their staff, and the refueling looks good and the tyres seem to be good, and there's a relatively quick pit stop for Anthony. And where will he come out? It looks like he's going to come out at around 15th or 16th place here. Actually no, he's going to go up into 14th now as a 15th car pit, so he has made relatively good progress out of that pit stop. Could have been better, but he's been looking to push now and get back up into the points positions. We are coming up to the start of lap 12 and Anthony has moved his way back up into 7th position, not because of overtaking anyone but due to pit stops, and we are getting across the team radio that we have the first signs of potential rain during the race coming around lap 15, so teams will need to be aware, even though they've just made some pit stops, that wet weather tyres or maybe even intermediate tyres will be necessary in the future, as this could just really shake up the rest of the race depending on how it goes and pit stop strategies. Anthony in 8th place is held up behind 19th place Tang, and 7th place overtakes him. That was Venine and fantastic Finn. Gets one over him as Anthony was stuck behind 18th place, and now 19th place Cavalcanti overtakes him as well. What a disaster for Anthony, all because he was stuck behind 19th place Tang there. That was not what he was looking for, especially with this wet weather pit stop coming up soon. As 10th place Mello has a look down the inside of Anthony, but he's having none of that. Going into lap 13 now, Anthony's in 9th place, and the wet weather pit stop could be upon us sooner than many people think. And it is key that teams get strategy right here. A strategy here will make all the difference between who wins and loses this race, as some cars have already switched to intermediates in the form of Marchetta and Girard. Bold strategy there by those two teams. And it appears AB Racing's Anthony will make the first pit stop here. Even though there is no water on the track, it looks as if he's going to go onto intermediate tyres, as a couple others, such as Girard and Marchetta, have already done. But this is preemptive by AB Racing. They assume that water will start to fall and fall heavily enough. Intermediate tyres will be required after a good pit stop here by Anthony, as he gets away and is down into 15th place. Though I think they're going to bring in Gomez as well to potentially do the same strategy here, as he also is going to look to go onto intermediate tyres. Once the rain does start to fall, Anthony will need to push and kick on here as he looks to get into the top half of the standings if he wants any chance of getting some decent points for AB Racing in their first race of the season. He's complaining that there isn't enough water on the track to support these intermediate tyres, but the team knows that water will be coming onto the track, so it's no major concern here for Anthony just yet. It is lap 16 now, and only a handful of cars are not on the intermediate tyres, but as we're getting over the team radio here from AB Racing, it appears that Anthony has an engine problem, which could be disastrous and will definitely cost him extra time in the pit stop, which he needs to sort out. So Anthony may have to make another pit before the end of this wet weather period, so he's going to have to pit relatively soon. And this is not good for AB Racing's chance of getting some decent points and finishing in the top half. Their objective of the season to finish 8th in the standings, so this is not going to help by any means. It is lap 18 now, and Anthony is being chased by Cavalcanti, the Brazilian, while also catching up on the Canadian in 8th place, Beauchamp. As we can see, it is now apparently going to get less wet on the track in the next few laps, so teams will have to start considering if they want to continue staying on the intermediate tyres, or if they want to switch back over to some soft tyres and try and get some more pace, do something different in the strategy department. But Anthony still needs to make his pit and fix this engine, but he'll probably do that when he next comes into pit, probably around the same time that the weather starts to change. As Anthony is overtaken by Cavalcanti there, the Brazilian. That is not good for Anthony. There's a bad overtake to concede. As 11th also has a look, Valdez, but nothing's happening here. Valdez has dropped down all the way from 2nd place all the way down to 11th. He has not had a good race so far. Anthony's engine has become a major problem now, and I would not be surprised if the team pitted him here, which I think they are going to do. This is probably the best option for AB Racing here, as they can't afford to lose Anthony to a DQ, or a DNS, sorry. So they're going to have to pit, change the engine, refuel, change the tyres. I think they're going to go back onto some intermediate tyres due to the water on track still being relatively high. So this is not good. It's going to be a long pit stop for Anthony, taking up to 25 seconds here, and he's dropped all the way down from originally 9th to about 15th here. This is not what they wanted here at AB Racing. Gomez is in 16th still, but Anthony was the main chance to get some decent points and finish in the top half of the order here. It is lap 23 now, and Anthony is still trying to chase the pack with Mello at 13th. But as we can see, the rain is actually going to get heavier in just a couple laps. This could throw a major spanner in the works to many teams. It'll be interesting to see if teams go onto inters or wet tyres. But Anthony, this could be his opportunity to gain some time back. If he pushes hard on these intermediate tyres while other teams make these pit stops, he might have a chance to get back into the top 10 if he has enough pace to him. But this will be interesting to see what other teams do around him and how this will all play out in the next couple laps. Interesting to see. We are in the dying embers of this race as the rain is about to get heavier, and Gomez has made his way up all the way up to 14th. But I believe Anthony is right in the pits now, and what is he going to change to? He is changing onto some wet tyres. This is a bold strategy as many teams are still on the intermediate tyres. He's in 10th place, so he's got good position, especially if the rain does get heavier and starts to favour these wet tyres more. This is Anthony's third pit stop now, and he will look to push away from the rest of the pack and gain on these cars in 12th and 11th with Marchetta and Arbeloa. Gomez is also coming into the pit, I believe, and he will make some changes onto some wet tyres as well. Yes, he changes onto some wet tyres. It's be interesting to see what happens in the next few laps and how this race will unfold in the final few corners. And it's clearly will come down to the last couple turns and see where all the teams line up. It is lap 29 now, and the rain is tipping it down here in Russia, and Anthony is slowly but surely gaining up on Marchetta and Arbeloa. He is only 3 seconds behind them now, but he has a problem. He has a problem with his gearbox. He's going to just have to ignore it and go straight to the finish line now. There is nothing the team can do. He is going to have to stay on these wet weather tyres if he wants to have any chance of pushing up into the top 10. He is closing down on Marchetta and Arbeloa at almost half a second a sector. This is some serious pace Anthony has right now as he gains on them. Gomez is down in 15th still. He's made some improvements since his earlier setbacks in 20th, but he's still got a long way to go. As Gomez also has a problem with his engine, I believe. This is not good for the AB Racing. They're going to have to improve their reliability after this race is over and get back to the drawing board and that. But in the meantime, Anthony's gaining on Marchetta and Dembele as he looks to gain some more points for this AB Racing team in their first ever race here in the Russian Grand Prix. And he's in touching distance of 12th place Marchetta now. As he comes down into the final lap, go down the main straight. He's only about a second behind Marchetta now, and it'll be interesting to see whether he'll actually have enough time to make it all the way up towards Arbeloa, because he has got the pace on Marchetta and Dembele, and he's looking to go around the outside of Marchetta here, which he does with ease, and he's got some serious pace. And is this Dembele up ahead? I believe it is. And Anthony has made his way up into 12th and is looking to go around the inside of Dembele, who has an incident. He has a problem as well, so Anthony is up into 11th place and will look to pull away. I don't think he has enough time to catch up to 10th place El Sadat here, but it'll be interesting to see. He's also low on fuel, so he has to be wary of that, as he doesn't want to break any FIA regulations with not having enough fuel in the tank at the end of the race. As they draw ever closer towards the finish line, Anthony is 11th, Gomez is 15th, and I don't think this will change, as Anthony does not have enough time to catch up with El Sadat, even though he had the pace on him for the majority of the last 2 laps. I believe this is how it will end for AB Racing, 11th and 15th, a respectable finish, as Anthony has actually run out of fuel on this last straight. This is not good for AB Racing. Hopefully they won't get penalised for that. But 11th it is for Anthony, not bad, but it could have been a lot better if a couple of things had gone their way and some reliability issues hadn't slowed them down at all, as they lost some significant time due to these issues and making pit stops to change Anthony's engine at one point in the race. Gomez is coming across the line in 15th, overtaking 3rd place, who has already finished. Jar has won the race, Girard comes 2nd, Vanainen in 3rd, and Chu in 4th place. What a race here in the Russian Grand Prix. It was full of drama and exhilaration and anticipation, but it has lived up to the billing, and it has been a good first opening series to the European Racing Series here. It was a good race for AB Racing, considering it was their first ever race in the European Racing Series. They have had a shit car and they have a bad drivers and not the best factory to go with it. So they made some considerable improvements to finish 11th and 15th respectively in their first ever career race. Faith Anthony gets 10 points in the end, and Gomez gets 6 points in the end. But your top 3 winners were Girard, and Vanainen. They finished 1, 2, and 3 respectively. I thought this first race went well, and it was actually really difficult doing this post-commentary for you guys, so I'd like your feedback on how you think it went, because I think it went okay. There was definitely stuff I could improve on it, but overall I think it went pretty well. It's just weird commentating over stuff which has already happened, and it's just unnatural for me. So I'd really appreciate your guys' feedback on this. But that is the end of the Russian Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. AB Racing are currently bottom of the standings with 16 points, but I'm sure that can change very quickly with a few more improvements to the car, a couple driver upgrades. I think we'll be back on track in no time and finish in that 8th spot, which our chairman wants us to. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed it. My name's AB Sports. Peace.